welcome in everybody on Saturday. I hope you're doing very well. We have a super good exciting day planned. We are going in the Boeing 777 again. I'm really glad to be back in this plane, and I've managed to get on flightgear, managed to get the mouse up back onto the screen while streaming. I'll talk about that a little bit more while we're in the plane, but yes, we are outside Boeing 777-300 extended range. As you can see, my mouse is on screen and I can see it too. We're going in Cathay Pacific livery, Cathay Pacific, it depends on what you want to call it, up to Kaliningrad from Krakow Airport. So this is going to be a good one. I'm hoping it'll take about an hour. I know it's usually quite quick in the 777 because it's a fast plane. We usually exceed maximum speed because there's no warning, so I'm sure everything will work out fine. And yeah, just outside the plane, I need to refuel it. I need to get some fuel on board. I think we're looking at like £30,000 or something. So I'm going to go up to the top. I'll do it while we're outside so you can see it. There's a fuel truck over there. It's called BP. It's nice to just be outside and have that external view. We got the external power cart there. Start the plane up with that. And of course, giant General Electric engines each produce £115,000 worth of thrust, which is really powerful. Buses bringing people. This is flightgear, by the way, if you're not aware of it. So we'll go ahead. We'll start this. We'll start the refuel. A couple of minutes, and we also have to start boarding our passengers. I waited for you guys instead of doing it before because I wanted you to see the process. So you won't be able to see it, but on the other side of the plane, there are some catering trucks loading up food. As you can see, catering trucks. We've got stairs. We've got the whole works. Stick those back there. Okay, so we can start loading. We're completely packed. We've got like 300. Says we've got 12 souls on board. We've got 365 passengers, 12 cabin crew, 2 pilots. Quite a lot of food on board as well. So we're going to start that. Start the car. We haven't really got any cargo, but we need cargo. Let's put that in. 7,500. That's kind of light. I see. I'm not used to their pounds. The pound system. I'm used to kilograms. I'll put 15. Oh God, I have no idea. £35,000 maybe. I don't know what's too much on this aircraft or not. Okay, start load. Is it 11 minutes? Catering 4 minutes. So we'll just wait a second for that. And while we wait for that, we can get inside and start warming up. So let's go ahead and walk over to the aircraft. See if we can walk up the steps. That'll be pretty cool. Nope. Unless we're back in the plane. There we go. As I said, we got the external power carts up on the sort of upper dashboard overhead panel. Dashboard is more down here. That's more for a car. Overhead panel has external power available, so click on that. There's no need. If you have the external power, you don't actually need the battery, but we'll put the battery on anyway, and we don't need the APU. Adira, we're going to do this. We do all the start, ready for the aircraft to engine up. We get our clearance. It's fairly simple on flightgear. If you've seen the stream I did yesterday on X-Plane 12, then you'll probably enjoy that. And that was the 737. It's a lot more in depth. I talked a little bit. I go over the systems, talked about the startup and things, go into a bit of depth about the sort of performance as well. So you should check that out if you enjoy that. And then later on, I'm hoping to upgrade this 777 to X-Plane 12 as well. So hopefully we can go from this sort of, I'd say, moderately realistic, not too realistic, to super realistic, which is like super good. We have our flight pre-programmed. We've got an autopilot route manager. If you've watched my streams before, you'll realise we have to use the route manager rather than the FMC. The FMC is not quite up to scratch, no pun intended. Okay, runway 25 departing, runway 6 landing. We don't really have a standard. It's given as a standard instrument departure. That's not bad. And then approach, runway 6. Default, activate. Okay, so on this departure we'll have to be below 3,800, 6,800, then we can go straight up to Let's do 37,000 feet. Well, actually, let's do 35,000 is a bit better for the 777. Say 320 knots. I don't really know what the actual speed is we can do, but we'll say 320 anyway. Okay, stick our navs on. Make sure the aircraft is lit up, and the people know we're working on it. Stick these on as well. Preparation for the aircraft starting. Fuel pumps off just while we're refueling. Something up there. We don't actually need to do that switch. And then all this over here is usually done automatically, so we don't really need to change anything, which is kind of handy. But also, it doesn't really teach much if you can't see it. I completely forgot how to do this. Hey, that's handy though. If you press shift and then the number pad 4 and 6, it will change your view left and right. That's pretty handy. So I'm assuming, yeah, 8 on number pad is forward, 2 is behind. That's really cool. And then 7 and 9 is sort of the shoulder. Because if we switch the FD on, flight director, that should give us the route.
Refueling finished.
Okay, I hope you can hear that. It did say fueling is finished, so that's going to give us permission to take off. Hopefully, because we don't really have ATC on this, so we just have to imagine ATC has cleared us. Unless we can try it now. Let's try some ATC. So we got 3,000 pounds of catering, loaded in 39 trolleys, so people are going to be well fed on the short flight. Okay, so we're at EPKK, and that is not found. Okay. Hope if we typed it in correctly. There we go. Krakow delivery 111.1. Let's fingers crossed there's somebody on the other end to answer our call. Can't hear anything. Perhaps it's not working. 18.1. Well, they've given us our clearance, so they've given us Belize ground. That's Krakow has given us startup approved, Golf correct. Fly runway heading, that's 07. That's going to be our takeoff runway. Squawk 7452. Pushback and taxi clearance call on imaginary frequency. Because there's definitely nobody on 0.00. We are going to turn our transponder to keep it on standby actually for now. Okay, so we need to contact ground, I think. Radio. So we've done delivery. We've only got tower. Let's just keep using the same one and see if it's going to work for us. No, so we can't hear it. That's absolutely fine. We can see our man outside. Let's put him aside in case we depart without. Okay, so we've loaded up on fuel. Let's go ahead and check our status. Toggle that off. Front buses can go because everyone's loading up onto the aircraft. 2 minutes on passengers and 5 minutes on cargo, so we've got quite a lot of cargo still. Fuel truck, yeah, it's about enough fuel to get us there. Welcome on Saturday as well. We're over in a good weekend. But I'd start it off with a surprise stream on the day off. Okay, we can't wait for that all day. Let's just wait and payload. We got 2. Let's do it instant. No, doesn't want to do it. Ah, there we go. We got 365 passengers. That's good. A total of 377, of course that includes 12 crew members. I'm assuming the crew members includes the pilots. If not, that means we've got 12 people in the cabin, working the cabin. They're probably business class, first class for economy, etc, etc. I don't really know how many classes there are on the 777, but I imagine there's quite a lot of them. Right, let's hop back in. We can get our clearance. It is complete. We can get our aircraft clear of all ground services, ready to be pushed back and take off. There we go. Catering trucks off. We don't need air hose. Well, actually, we might need air hose because we need to start the engines. You know what? We're not gonna wait. Let's go ahead and start. There we go. Engine starting. Okay, that's cool. That's very, very detailed. See, the General Electric engine here on the side is rotating, spinning, spooling up. The one on the left is slightly turning. I've never really noticed that before. So that's cool. I can't really hear any engines though. Any engine sounds. Bear with me one second. Let me just check the sounds on this. So the output's normal. Maybe it's because the air units and stuff is connected. Disconnect that. Can't fly without an engine sound. Ah, there we go. The engine's turning off. So let's check. Yeah, stop spooling. We might as well just go APU. You can never go wrong with that. APU unit. There we go. We got the engine sounds. That's what we need. Can't fly silent. Quite loud though, so we're going to start the first one. Left engine. See, it spools up. That's really, really quick actually, so we've got fuel in already. That's pretty much instant on start up. Amazing though, they're £115,000, and I was comparing the size to the 737 again, and I just can't get my head around how big the aircraft is. Not to mention the power and the sheer sort of capacity of it. That's an amazing piece of engineering. Right, we've done the left engine, let's do the right. We're doing a bit different, we're doing the engines before our pushback. That's absolutely acceptable though. Help with put fuel pumps on. No fuel in Santa. And we want to see those green lights. No, can't see them in the daytime, that's pretty realistic. Beacon on because the engines are spooling up. Flick the fuel in. I think on the 777 I do it usually about 20%. I think you might have to do it immediately after ignition, according to some other pilot who told me so. Yeah, thanks for that feedback. Apparently it's quite soon after the ignition, but as a 737 you'd do it about 20 to 25% N2. Right, we can activate lateral navigation. We've got our route programmed. Let's just do a few checks. We need the RTO. Rejected takeoff. Check. We're going to do 5 degrees of flaps, that's standard. Now, let's check. It should be able to give us our V1 speeds, if I've done this correctly. Hope it will anyway. Takeoff. Yeah, so that's about right, I'd say. 133 and then 140 rotation speed. Wrong runway though. We do need to change that to correct one. Okay, I think we're just about ready to push back. Connect. See the difference between the flight gear and X-Plane 12, it's very quick on flight gear. But on X-Plane you're kind of waiting for aircraft to travel around the airport. Still love both, of course. Still love this for the 777 and many other things. It's got tons of aircraft and you can pretty much fly anywhere in the world, and it's got scenery for it. Cockpit looks, I would say, well modelled for a free livery. Free model aircraft. It's very well made. So you can open this on it. It can't do everything, but it's certainly usable. Right, let's set this heading before I forget. We just set the runway heading for takeoff. So just press this whole button, it'll put it to yours. We can do that as well. Armour autothrottle 200, and we should have usually maybe a course button would be there. And pressure I've not actually set pressure yet because we didn't have. Let's listen to the ATIS before we go. So 126.125. Okay, stop, center, stick the brakes on. 126.125. There we go. So we're all programmed to the ATIS. Let's see what they got to say. I believe it's information golf. No ATIS, so it looks like we're just literally freewheeling it, winging it today. We're just going, no permission at all. Okay, APU still on. Hope we turn that off. There we go. Yeah, welcome aboard. This is our departing flight, Krakow Airport Belize. I should say Krakow Belize Airport, Poland, to Kaliningrad, Russia. Kaliningrad has a very interesting piece of land. It's sort of on the sea coastline towards Riga, Latvia, Lithuania, those sort of countries. So very warm, you would expect. Okay, let's increase the N1. Remember, we're a full aircraft. We've got quite a considerable amount of weight, so this is going to impact the performance. As you can see on the ground, the steering is, I would say, struggling. Make sure we got steering on actually. So we're going to need a lot more thrust to get moving. Well, I'd say about 30% is a good target if you're quite heavy. If you're a light aircraft like 737, you probably don't even need that much. Not consistently anyway, and of course apply braking and use the correct manuals so the aircraft you're using. There we go, we're human taxiing down. Yeah, it's come up here ready for taxi. Let's see what happens on the ATC. Not much. I know it's Cathay Pacific livery is giving us a different tail number. It's giving us Bravo Kilo Papa Alpha, so that's cool. We will be back in the British Airways 777-300 extended range. I was really excited to try this out. It looks super cool. I mean, the livery itself is fantastic. The engine, definitely one of the best models in flight gear. Let's just get rid of ATC because we can't hear them. Yeah, the model's great. The steering, can't go wrong with it. You gotta remember the 777 is tail heavy as well. It says there's a tail. You gotta be careful of the tail strikes because it's rear-ended. I don't know how to say it properly. It's got a heavy end. It's got a long tail. Set altitude, cruise altitude 35,000. I think we're going to be maintaining, let's just double check. So on departure, as soon as we've cleared this, you can go straight up to 3,800, 6,800, and then after that, this departure route, we're free to go straight up to 35,000. Oh, use the map for guidance on route. If you're unsure, as you can see there, we've got our route programmed in nicely. So by the time we get here, we can go up to about 35,000, which is relatively quickly, to be honest. And then, as you can see, the short flight, not very far. After we've gone to Kaliningrad, not on flight gear, but on X-Plane 12, we will be going up to Evra. I won't tell you where that is, you can figure that out. Echo Victor Romeo Alpha Airport after Kaliningrad. I did fly the same route yesterday. You notice we're flying the exact same route but in a different plane. That's just because I want to compare. I want to try and compare the differences and just see what it's like really, and just enjoy it. Practice the route and practice landings. We'll definitely be doing a manual landing today. Of course, no smoking sign and seatbelt signs. Alright, I think we're ready to taxi. We're going to go lined up on the runway and prepare for takeoff. Make sure we got everything on our pre-takeoff checklist.
Approaching 25.
Thank you, Cobra. That approaching 25. It's only runway here, so we don't need to say centre, left or right. Simply 25. There we go. You see, you need to spend a bit more time just taxiing forward in the 777. Not necessarily on flight gear, because I mean it's realistic, sure, but it's not too realistic. It's just because it's such a long aircraft. You need to account for the fact that the whole body needs to get onto the runway, of course. Right, I think we're going to go ahead and hold short. I can see a plane coming towards us. That's never a good thing. But usually the aircraft that are on flight gear tend to be a bit backwards, so they taxi the wrong way, they take off the wrong way. There's absolute chaos at the airport sometimes. Is that CRJ? Looks like a CRJ. Yeah, either taking off or taxiing. Windsock. Where's that windsock at? I can't see the windsock, but I'm pretty sure the wind is in our direction, so we've got right of way here. So we're going to put our landing lights on, strobe lights. We can leave the taxi lights on just while we take off to make it a bit brighter. Yeah, so I think that plane is taxiing down, turning around and then taking off, which is perfect, to be honest. No, you just did a 360 turn to taxi. Very impressive. Alright, just give me a second, just check something. Okay, that's it. We can depart now. That's quite a good flight to go on, I think. Just double checking the distance. Increase the thrust to N1. You would usually press take off, go around, but we haven't really got a switch. Makes it more fun manually anyway. There we go, N1 set. That's 80 knots cleared. V1. Rotate. Perfect. I love how the free flight gear gives you a fantastic 777. That's a positive rate climb, gear up. Gear's not coming up. What's going on? There we go. Yeah, the flight gives you a brilliant model for the 777, and I still can't get over the fact that the default 737 and X-Plane 12 doesn't have the V1 speeds in it. You know, it's sort of standard on a commercial airliner. Even this one has it on it. And this is free. Default free version on the free game. Yeah, it has all the speeds, it has all the reference speeds, V1 and flaps 1 up there, flap 0. Just going to pitch down to 10 degrees. And stick our autopilot not on, we'll leave it off. You notice I'm not climbing consistently because we need to stay below those heights. So I can clear up to below 6,800, and then after this next waypoint cleared up to 35,000. But look at this amazing weather, amazing scenery as well, beautiful. There we go, there's our departing turn to the east. Airplane's not pointing the right way on the map, but that's fine. Okay, we're past that, we're cleared up to 35,000 feet. We'll engage the autopilot once we get past 10,000 feet. So at the moment I'm just going to enjoy the 777. It's excellent handleability. Really is like a Rolls Royce. Okay, landing lights off. Let's turn the taxi lights off. And stick our logo. I'm going to leave those off just because we don't really. I mean, you can use them, but it's bright, it's daytime. We've got our anti-collision lights on and navigation lights. That's probably the main ones we need. Okay, let's increase our speed to 300 knots. There's no N1 button on this, so you have to rely on the speed you input into the auto throttle. In this case, 320. Pitching up slightly high. Past 10,000 feet, so it's safe to stick on the autopilot. And this should take us back on path. Back onto the route we have programmed. Lateral navigation was engaged, but you'll notice I clicked heading select to disengage lateral navigation. And we should be going up to flight level 350. We have it programmed in. I haven't really used vertical navigation because from what I've seen and read, it doesn't work. We may be able to try it now. So I can click it. It should take us up to our programmed height of 35,000 at 320 knots. Should do. Fingers crossed. Okay, so it seems to be doing it pretty well actually, so maybe it is working. As you notice, it's actually climbing at the speed the computer's determined for us, rather than us having to program the vertical speed into it. I suspect it's also to maintain 320, so you can see there's a very low nose on that. Get this right, we'll be there in 15-20 minutes, not long at all. With radar. And hopefully you're enjoying this flight. If you are, as usual, best way to let me know is to tell me in comment. Just comment, let me know you enjoy me. If you'd like to see a flight from a specific place in a specific aircraft, provided it's one I have, i.e. the 737 or 777, then that's absolutely fine. You can request that. I will consider it if it's within Europe and within a certain sort of time frame. I think 2 hours maximum would be a flight I'd be willing to do, maybe 2.5 hours if it was a good one. Oh yeah, look for more suggestions. Okay, we just about reached 35,000 feet. It did take a while. We can't get up to 320, so the computer set the max speed for us. It set us 0.84 on max, so that's quite realistic. So you do have to use vertical navigation. It does work on flightgear. So that's my mistake for thinking it didn't work, so the whole time I've not been using it. That's pretty handy though. So we can only reach 200, we're going to reach this speed, can't go 320 knots at 35,000 feet. I have in the past done that, but obviously it's not correct. Yeah, really cool though. I mean, even X-Plane doesn't have this. It doesn't even tell you that when you're going to be overspeeding or stalling. It doesn't have the reference speeds. You would definitely expect that as a minimum for something that considers itself to be quite realistic flight sim. Although to be fair, I did a flight on it last night and the ATC actually worked, so credit to it. And that was in the default aircraft as well. Oh no, not default. It may have been. It was in one of the 737s and it worked with no issues. So yeah, enjoy the flight. I think ETA is probably about 30 to maybe 40 minutes. Just jumped back into the cockpit's captain's seat because we've got a message on the FMC. So it's saying main control panel altitude reset, I believe. I hope that's what it said. Apologies if I've not been checking chat. Welcome in if there's anyone in there. So I believe we just got to set the pressure. Saying set the panel, but it's already set on it. Check our approach speeds. So as you can see, it's not really giving us our approach speeds, but it's giving us our takeoff speeds, which is good enough. It's found the target airport, Uniform Mike Kilo Kilo, which is Kaliningrad. I cannot pronounce the name of the airport, but it's the main airport in Kaliningrad. As you can see, we had the takeoff speeds. That's changed considerably actually since we took off, so I don't know what's going on with that. We can ignore that warning about the FMC as well, because we will be descending. We're 100 nautical miles away. We probably do need to start getting down a bit, maybe a flight level 250. So I'm going to select 250. If you don't know what that is, it's 25,000, and since we have vertical navigation on, it seems to be doing it on its own, which is fantastic. In that case, we can go down 6 to 15,000, and it should be at a fairly slow rate. So I'm pretty sure the aircraft will now pitch to maintain this speed. Yeah, as you can see, it's pitching to maintain that speed. Pretty good. So I think ETA now is probably about 20 minutes. So half an hour. Depends if we have to do a go around or not. Straight in. Of course, when we get there, the computer should program the FMC ILS frequency for us. If we want, we can do it ourselves. Okay, so we're not actually landing on the ILS runway. That's kind of good. That gives us the opportunity to fly the 777 manually down on approach. Just double check our speeds. We go up to autopilot, route manager. As you can see up here, the approach requires us to be below 4,000 feet by the time we get to this point. So before we intercept, pretend there's a glide slope there, or a localizer. Let's just assume we have to be below 4,000 before we intercept the localizer. 2,000 feet for final, 2,000 feet for glide slope. Again, it's not coming up as having an ILS on that runway. Yesterday when I landed here in the 737 on X-Plane 12, really good flight, by the way. If you like the 737, go and check it out. It was TUI Airlines. It was a really good day for flying in. Yeah, so we landed, I think, the other way, the same way yesterday, but it did have an ILS on it. So maybe it's just flight gear's a bit behind, possibly. Can measure the distance, so we're about 80 nautical miles. It tells us on the map 82 nautical miles, and we're not changed, so we'll click flight level change. Let's see if it does it for us. There doesn't seem to be much speed control. It just seems to be descending quite fast actually, so maybe I'll reduce the speed a bit. Let's see if that pictures up. We don't believe we're descending this fast, otherwise we'll be there in the next 5 minutes. Okay, so if you're just joining, we're about to land in Kaliningrad Airport. We're about 15,000 feet, 300 knots. We do need to reduce our speed. We're very close. We're 20 nautical miles from the approach point. We're going to reduce our speed to 230. Nice and slow for the approach. We're going to stick our landing lights on. We do have checklist now. Landing lights on. Stick the taxi on as well, just because we, as you know, we'll do it professionally. We won't stick them on until we're taxiing. Arm the speed brake. This will deploy automatically on landing, or we can do it ourselves. That's the most important thing, along with the brakes, of course. I don't usually use auto brakes on this because the reverse thrusters are so powerful. You don't really need them. But just to be on the safe side, we are going to do speed brake 1. And then when we get down, we can activate, of course, the reverse thrusters. So we're going to go ahead and descend to about 2,000 feet. So that will be our approach height. Flight level change. And hopefully by the time we get to this point, which is 20 nautical miles. Okay, airspeed low. Let's deploy some flaps. Reduce that stall speed. Yeah, so by the time we get there, we will be, I reckon, about 160. Or maybe even landing speed by that point, which it would be. It did give us our landing speed earlier, we'll just double check it. Okay, no it didn't. It didn't give us our landing speed at all, so let's just assume it's 150 on the approach. Okay, we're a lot closer than I thought. We reduced that speed way back to 1. It seems to be pitching for speed rather than... Well, that's normal. It will pitch for speed, so we want to reduce it way back to 180. Sorry, 160. We'll deploy some more flaps, 15 degrees of flaps, and probably stick the landing gear down as well. Slightly early just because we're slightly high, and we haven't got to turn the map off. We're entirely VFR today. There's no need for the map. We have a small map down here anyway. Yeah, fuel's looking good. Brought plenty of fuel for the trip. We got like 16 tons. That's quite a lot. 16 tons in the right, left, and 18 tons in the right. Bear with me. Flight controls. I'm sure there's another thing on there. Obviously the engine's the main one. Airspeed low. We have got 15 degrees of flaps, so we're quite close to stall speed. As I say, the landing speed, I was right, it is about 150 for touchdown, so we'll leave it 160 for now. No ILS. definitely my favourite part as well. Definitely one of my favourite planes. Okay, we'll stick another notch of flaps. Yeah, 777-300 extended range. I'll show you the outside briefly. There you go. Really nice plane, really heavy, really big. Look at that descent rate. Wow. As we come into Kaliningrad Airport, people on board are borderline scared to death, but we will, as usual, make a successful landing. We haven't put the seatbelt signs on, that would help. Okay, so hopefully this airport is modelled, otherwise we're going to be landing on grass. If you didn't, as I said earlier, if you haven't seen the X-Plane 12 landing on 737 at Kaliningrad, go and check out that flight from yesterday. TUI Airlines, really good flight, and a huge upgrade from flightgear. Needless to say, it's a lot better in terms of its performance and realism. So 30.15 is the local pressure. I don't know why it's giving us in inches. 30.15.
2,500.
Cause it to change it. Uh oh, we could be in some trouble here. The pressure is not adjusting. Ah, there we go. 0.15 on that side. Can do it on this side as well. Okay, it's done this for it. Does do it for us. So we're coming into the line. We've got full 20 degrees of flaps, about 170. I'm just a bit worried about stalling. We can see the runway in sight, so we're going to deploy the rest of the flaps and reduce to 160 on speed. Saying 140 is the reference. That's probably the absolute minimum. I was aiming for 150. Double check that map. I'm definitely sure there's no ILS. There was on X-Plane 12, but on this, it's only given us 2.4 as the ILS, but 0.6 is our target runway. Change the heading to 0.6 now. Uh, 0.57. There we go, so we're all manual. Go ahead and leave the auto throttles to 155 and disengage the autopilot. There we go, so we're all manual. Just off to the left side. We were slightly off to the right, so we're just in for the left. You hear those General Electric engines kicking in. We need to really turn the auto throttle off at this point, so we're going to disengage the auto throttle. Have full control of the aircraft now. It's looking good though, we're looking fairly steady. 500 feet. Nice and smooth, no crosswind, holding it steady. Hold it steady. Don't worry about the puppy lights.
300.
Okay, reduce that thrust ever so slightly just to bring that speed down to 150.
Minimums.
Minimums, looking good.
200.
Prepare to engage that auto reverse thruster. Speed is really dropping now. We might have a crosswind wind shear.
50. 30. 10.
Okay, there we go. Reverse thrusters. And the auto brake's already kicking in very, very well. We're going to turn that off because it's too strong. Alright, that was a good landing. Welcome to Kaliningrad Airport. Wow, that was really good. Oh, went a lot better than I expected. Let's hope. Check the spoilers. Stick our landing lights off, taxi lights on. Keep our strobes on till we clear the runway. Okay, we're going to do a sneaky trick here. We're going to do a 180 turn back to the taxiway. Now, if you watched that video yesterday, Kaliningrad, you would have noticed me landing in, and there would have been there was a ton of aircraft. And a terminal as well, which was good to see. This doesn't usually happen. We just taxi in like normal. Yeah, so plenty of aircraft on the X-Line 1, and there was a fully modelled terminal. But on this one, I think we have got taxiways, and by the look of it, some kind of, I don't know if that's part of the airport, but I'm assuming there's some kind of taxiway to a parking space. Nice fast taxi down here to clear the runway. Then we can do our shutdown procedures and deboarding. Yeah, that wind, there was no strong crosswind. We got to the final, short final, the speed seemed to be jumping a bit, so that might suggest there was wind shear. That can usually happen. It will usually affect your sort of altitude or speed. It is dangerous as well, so it might have been better doing a go around. Okay, we can stick the strobes off, leave our beacon and navigation lights on. Right, there's no taxiway to a parking, there's just this spot, so we'll go ahead and park right there. Not the best model of the airport, not the worst either. Right, turn these off. Fuel pumps off, APU on for the next flight. So we want to turn all them signs off. These can go off. Beacon lights off. We leave the navigation lights on. They can go off as well. Leave the window heat and the emergency lights armed. There we go. Well, I appreciate everyone coming. It's been another strange flight, but we've managed to survive it somehow. I hope the next flight in the 737 on X-Plane 12 is just as good. We'll end it where we started, so we'll look at the aircraft. Amazing. Such a big plane. So thank you for anyone who's coming to this Saturday stream. It wasn't really planned. And I hope to see you again on Monday. So take care everyone. Goodbye.